Why hello everyone, today I'm doing another step into my shoes makeup tutorial. So I don't know if you recognize me, I'm doing my version on the Too Faced character. And as you can see, I went full on gelatin and prosthetics and I went all the way. I hope that with the footage I'm going to show you guys that you kind of get an idea of how I did this look. In case you're wondering why I have a Superman logo on this side, we all know that there's going to be a new movie called Batman vs. Superman. And my little story is that instead of, trying to beat Batman on his own, Harvey Dent or Two-Face decides to join Superman. If you can't beat them, then join them. So I'm sporting, or we are sporting, a Superman logo in honor of Superman defeating Batman. Or at least we hope. So if you want to know how we created our Harvey Dent look, then no. Flip a coin for it. So before I'm gonna start with the pre-painting of the prosthetics, I want to tell you guys that for the palettes I'm going to use, you're going to need 99% Isopropanol Alcohol. You cannot use any less percentage of alcohol or water because it won't work. You can, however, use the Skin Illustrator activator for this. So first I'm going to use the Skin Illustrator V's Pirate Palette number 3, and I'm going to mix the shades Blood Tone and Rice Paper together. And I'm gonna apply that or paint that color all over the areas where the skin is exposed, or actually the muscle tissue is exposed. As you can see right here. As with all SFX looks or special effects looks, I suggest you look up pictures or reference photos because it can really help you with your paint job. I actually use the meat you can buy in a grocery store as reference because that's exactly the type of color I wanted to give the exposed flesh on all my prosthetics. So yeah, again, I highly suggest you look up reference material so that it can help you with your SFX project or special effects project. Next up, I'm going to mix the colors Prime Yellow and Pastel Yellow of that same Skin Illustrator V's Pirate Palette number 3, and I'm going to apply those colors in random sections on the prosthetics. This color needs to simulate fat. We all have fat in our skin, whether it's our belly, but you name it, we also have it in our face. So that's why I'm applying that color kind of in a random pattern on the prosthetics. Again, look up reference material. Next, I'm going to mix the shades Aged Blood Tone and just regular blood tone together. And I'm gonna use that to create more definition or dimension in the prosthetic. I'm not applying that shade all over the painted prosthetic, but just, again, in random spots to create more definition or depth, if you get what I mean. Next up, I'm going to use the Skin Illustrator Lost palette, and the shade I'm going to use right now is called Lividity. And I'm using that shade to actually pre-paint the gums a little bit. Only of this prosthetic, obviously, because I don't have gums like on my forehead, but you already got that. Pre-painting is super handy when it comes to speeding up the application process, especially on a model. But since I'm doing this on myself, it helps me to get into the details of the prosthetic better, because when I've applied it on my face, I only use, the little flip screen of my camera to do my makeup, so you can guess how difficult that is for me. So as you can see, I shaved a part of my hair. This is actually the length I normally have my hair, so I let my hair grow out for this part. But anyway, I'm going to use masking tape to section off a part of my head. This is at your own risk because I do not recommend it.
So one thing you should know is that you should not put the tape on European or straight hair because it will tear out your hair. I suggest going with a bulb.
What do you think you're doing in my shot?
No,
what do you think you're doing in my shot?
No!
I really suggest you do it though.
Okay, but for real, I suggest use a bald cap instead. I did not have a bald cap at hand, so I kinda had to improvise, but yeah, that's what I do. But in all honesty, I had no problems with removing this. I'm just saying, it's not ideal. I really suggest you use a bald cap. But anyway, use at your own risk. Finally, it's time to apply the prosthetic. So here I'm kind of pre-fitting where the prosthetic needs to go. I did not glue it down yet. But for my glue, I'm going to use the Nimba Creations prosthetic glue. This is specifically designed for gelatin prosthetics, so, you know, don't use it on anything else but gelatin. And now with a latex sponge, I'm just applying that adhesive on the area where the prosthetic is going to be. Just to let you know, I also applied a coat of adhesive on the inside of the prosthetic. So now I'm pushing the prosthetic in place. You know, just wiggle it around, make sure it fits your face perfectly. And once it does, you can glue down the edges. I'm just using a cotton swab to glue everything down pretty much. Just to let you know, the upper part of the prosthetic, so near the masking tape, does not need to be glued down perfectly because I'm going to cover that in gelatin later in this video. Next up, I'm going to apply my prosthetic nose the same way I did with, you know, the first prosthetic you just saw. I know I did not, you know, color this prosthetic on camera, but I thought, you know what, it saves me time, and you know, I've shown you guys how I color the prosthetic, so you know, I kind of left that out. But anyway, again, same technique, same process, only this is the nose piece. And I'm leaving the lower part of the prosthetic, so the big prosthetic, unglued, so just, you know, for what it is, because I'm going to change that up later in the video as well. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Nimba Creations gelatin blender, the word already says it, and a cotton bud or cotton swab, and I'm going to blend away the edges as best as I can. Don't use too much of the gelatin blender because otherwise the edges will become loose and messy. You just don't want that. Don't forget, the edges near the masking tape do not need to be blended. Now I'm going to check where the exposed jaw and torn face prosthetic line up the best, and then I'm gonna dot out a line where I'm going to cut away the excess prosthetic. So take your time with this to make sure that you get it right and to your liking. I learned this neat little trick from Nimba Creations on their YouTube channel, so make sure you check it out because they have awesome videos and they will also tell you in depth on how to do this. Anyway, so I'm cutting away the excess gelatin. Now that I've cut away the excess gelatin on both prosthetics, I'm going to glue down the exposed jaw prosthetic. And if everything goes right, it will lock into place with each other, as you can see right here. It's not perfect, but that's why I'm going to use heated gelatin in a couple of seconds to make everything stick together. You know, you get the idea. And now I'm just gluing down the edges just like I did with the previous pieces I showed on camera. Okay, so now over to the fun part. Here I have 400 grams of solid gelatin. You can buy this also on Nimba Creations, so on their website. So what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of that solid block, put it in a bowl, so a heat-proof bowl, and warm it for about 30 seconds in the microwave. Make sure that it's not too hot when you're gonna apply this to your skin because you're gonna regret it, trust me, I know. And now, as you can see right here, I'm using a metal spatula and a little bit of the gelatin, and I'm gonna connect the jaw with, you know, with the face, you know, to kind of blend the edges of those two separate prosthetics. And I'm just swirling this around, you know, in a random pattern just to simulate melted skin and all of that stuff. Also, a very fun trick I learned from Tom Loudon, who is, you know, the owner and creator of Nimba Creations. Shout out to you, Tom. So yeah, I love doing this. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing, only this time I'm going to apply it to my head first, so the part where the masking tape sits. This is perfectly fine, the masking tape did not melt on me, you know, just a heads up. But anyway, I'm just swirling this in a very bumpy, weird pattern, also again to simulate melted skin. I'm also connecting it to the edge of the face prosthetic, you know, to kind of get rid of that harsh edge. And yeah, I'm just doing this multiple times. I'm also applying it to my ear. Make sure that the gelatin is not hot. I cannot stress this enough. Yeah, and I'm also gonna do this to my neck. just in a random pattern. And the beauty of gelatin is that it is super sticky, as you can see. So you don't need any adhesives to, you know, make this last on your skin. So that's why I love gelatin so much. Also, you might want to reheat the gelatin multiple times because, you know, once it gets super tacky, you can't really blend it on your skin anymore. So it's perfectly fine to reheat the gelatin multiple times. Nothing to worry about. Okay, time to color again. Now I'm going to use the shade called Bruise Tone. This is of the Skin Illustrator V's Pirate Palette number 3. And I'm just going to spackle that in a random pattern all over my head. I'm just trying it out here, seeing if it works. Oh, and I'm using a Delium Tools spatter brush or splatter brush to do this. Now I'm going to use the shade called Lao 2. It's of that same Skin Illustrator palette. And I'm gonna apply that literally all over my face and head, just in a stippling motion. This is going to simulate my skin on the left side of my face. Again, what I used for reference is literally like leftover pizza stuff. Like, I'm not kidding, that's what I used as reference for the color on that part of my face. So now I'm going back to that same shade I used in the beginning, so that bruise tone color, and I'm going to respatter it all over my face. Again, giving it texture to simulate blood. You get the idea. I cannot stress enough on how important it is to look up reference material, whether it's you are recreating a character, a cartoon character, whatsoever. Reference material can help you out a lot, and that's why I cannot stress enough to say get reference material. Now I'm going to use the shade called Red Rum. This is of the Skin Illustrator Lost palette, and I'm going to apply that in a random pattern all over my skin, or the fake skin. Again, to simulate blood. You know the deal, I don't have to tell you guys this. It's also to give more texture and dimension to the look. It's all about layering and washes of colors, just like beauty makeup. Now I'm going to use this black shade of the Perfect palette by Nimba Creations. It's Cream Makeup. And I'm going to apply that also in a random pattern. This is to simulate charred patches of skin. The Harvey Dent or Too Faced character of the Dark Knight series has this a lot, but I just wanted to do it my way and just do it a little bit here and there, you know. Next, I'm going to use the Kryolan Transparent Film Blood in dark, or in the shade dark, and I'm going to take a cotton swab and just apply it a little bit in the wound. I do not want to overwhelm the wound that you can't see it anymore. You know, a little bit goes a long way to keep it realistic. After that, I took a little bit of tissue paper and some of that film blood, and I dabbed it all over my head and later on also in my neck. This is going to give the look a lot more dimension, and it also makes it look fresh, you know, and it simulates oozing of the wounds. And then I'm pretty much done. I'm just gonna do some finishing touches here and there later. Then I'm gonna do the beauty side of the makeup. No worries, I have a tutorial on that look listed below in the information box. Then I'm gonna put on my costume and my wig, and I'm done.
So that was it for my Harvey Dent / Too Faced character tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was, well, I gotta be honest, I stressed a lot and I cussed a lot, but we got there, we made the video. So what I did with this look is take some elements of the newer Harvey Dent, so in the Dark Knight series, and some elements of the older Batman movies, you know, where Tommy Lee plays Harvey Dent or Two-Face, which is my favorite actually. So the colorful suits, you know, and the really like the two-sided costume I got the idea of the more cartoon / comic-y version of Harvey Dent, so the Tommy Lee Jones version. So the wound / melted, you know, version of my FX look I got obviously from the Dark Knight series version. I just wanted to get that out of the way as well, just so you can get kind of an idea of why I did what I did, because I think it's important to tell you guys that as well. So if you want to follow me or us on our social media pages, then just type in MakeupByNamaisa on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mean, for real, subscribe, okay? Thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video. Bye!